Welcome to Connecting You Today. My name is Rosa Lokaising, and I'm the blind connector for this show. Hello, everyone. My name is Rosa Lokaising, and I'm the blind connector, and this is Connecting You Today. On this show, we have been matching Trailblazer entrepreneurs to connect, and in a blind connection actually, to grow their businesses together. They have been matched based on their skills, their expertise, their services, and what they've shared with me about how they want to grow their business. Today, I will be meeting with one of the blind connections as we are generating various types of ways to connect people on the show, through Messenger, through Zoom, through luncheon dates. So you will learn various types of connecting blind connections. I'd like to introduce our first guest today. His name is Roger Ramsuk. Roger is a behavioral therapist and works with kids and adults in helping them at the workplace to understand living in the workplace, as well as understanding what bullying in the workplace does. Roger is a published author and speaker and has written for several magazines on the topic. I'd like to Roger to tell you more about himself. Roger, welcome.
Thank you so much. Love the opportunity to be on your show, and I think it's a wonderful format and medium for what you're doing, and growing the entrepreneurial spirit in Ontario and in Canada. So important. We're out of the industrial age, especially in Ontario, right? Manufacturing is going down, and what's driving the American economy is the Ontario economy. It's small business ventures like this, and you're at the forefront of this. I love it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for seeing that.
Yeah.
It's a thrill to have you with us, because I know you've been working really hard, long hours, and you took time off to be here. So thanks.
You're welcome.
So this time, can you tell us and the audience a little bit more about yourself and the services that you deliver to your clients?
Sure. I started working with people in the disabilities field. I'm trained as a behavior therapist, as you said. Sounds like you did your homework. Good for you.
A bit.
And I came to realize that as I was training people to work in the workplace and to exist in society, what I found is that the people that I was sending them to, the organizations that I was working with, they needed training themselves. And so what kind of evolved from that was the whole mindset, the whole methodology around reaching people at a deeper level, at a better level, looking at an alternate way of doing things. And so the behavioral training that I have came and meshed really, really well with sort of the goals of an organization. And so on the one side, there was this disabilities and working with kids who have problem and challenging behaviors. And then that kind of flowed into working with the people who served them, the people who worked with them, and the people who needed them, and to exist a little bit better. And I am that guy.
That is so wonderful. You know, and this is the nice thing about growing your business and extending your services, is when you identify a gap.
Yes.
Isn't it beautiful to find the gaps?
That's what they teach in business school, so I hear.
There you go.
Find a need and fill it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's great. So tell me, how did you come to doing this work? What led you to choose this line of work to do, Roger?
I've always been in the human services field. I think that serving other people is the highest and best use of my life. And I think one kind of flowed into the other, because early on I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to work in a certain way. And the idea of climbing up a corporate ladder and necessarily being subservient for a number of years to somebody else, and then having to work my way up, and then work in some kind of area where it was totally purely profit driven, is what I thought I wanted. But as I got to know myself better, and I'm trying to remember who it was that says that all discovery is self-discovery in the end of it all. What I came to discover was that I live and I work and I exist from a more heart-centered place. And because of that, I needed to find work that was fulfilling, not just financially, not just physically, but also emotionally, spiritually, from the heart perspective.
It sounds to me every time I speak to you that you've done a lot of personal development as well. How long have you been on that journey of personal development?
How long have I been alive now? Let's not say.
You started really young, did you?
Everything that I learned, I now bring into play in what I do. And I have stories from when I was a kid, and when I speak to kids about bullying, I use those stories. And when I talk to entrepreneurs about totally missing the mark, I have those stories. And so everything that a person goes through, I mean, think about this, all the experience that you've ever had in your life shapes you in some way, does it not? And when you think about how you answer a question the way I'm doing right now, what I'm drawing upon is my own personal experience, my education, and everything that has gone into making me in this moment, right?
Yes,
and so,
true.
You could ask a person a question one day and get one answer, another day have another different answer, because they've been shaped by maybe experiences of that gap in between, or maybe you just hit them on a day when another memory is triggered about something else, and that comes out, right?
Yes. It's so true. So you really don't see a whole lot of difference between life and work.
I try to intermesh both, right? And I'm trying to remember again who said it, but a number of people have said this, that, if you're going to spend a third of your life working, you might as well do something that you enjoy. And one of the most heart-wrenching things to do is to be doing something that you don't really enjoy. And gosh, I spent way too much of my life doing things that I didn't truly enjoy, just because I needed to pay bills. And I think a lot of people, don't get me wrong, right? I know a lot of people that do fulfilling work, but I know many more who aren't really fulfilled by what they do.
And I couldn't agree with you more, because that's been my lifetime's passion, actually, in searching for things that have meaning and doing things that are meaningful. And I've always resonated with what you said, that if you're not working in a field that you enjoy, then you're actually not even being yourself at the office. Yeah. So you're two different people. So when we talk about split personalities, it comes in many different ways. It doesn't even have to be the name of an illness or disease. It simply is the way we're being, right?
That's exactly it.
So let me understand. You said you also wrote a book. Is it one book, two books? Tell me a little bit about your publishing.
I've only written one book, actually.
And tell us a bit about that.
The first book is in kind of another field that I'm in, and that was on working with kids and parenting. So my book is actually on parenting. It's called The Fearless Parent, 20 Ways to Inspire Success, Respect, and Gratitude.
Wow.
And it's amazing how the principles in when I teach or when I do workshops on parenting, how that then translated into organizations and HR departments and coworkers existing better within themselves and reducing conflict, because that's what I do most of for organizations now, is looking at different ways or an alternate way of thinking, a different methodology for reaching somebody to de-escalate a situation, to calm a situation down, to reduce conflict.
How would you say that impacts the workplace in general when we look at conflict resolution and bringing more harmony into the workplace? How does that impact everything?
I'm not even sure if they can put a number on it, because when I speak to HR professionals, they say so much of their time, which is not the highest and best use of their time either, but so much of the time is spent trying to manage people who couldn't manage the interaction. Okay. And let's face it, we're not really taught this in school.
That's right. We're not.
I've said for years now that probably the 3 most important things in your life you're not taught in school. You're not taught how to manage money. You're not taught what to do with your life. You're not taught how to manage a relationship. You're really not. You kind of learn those things ad hoc.
And those are life skills.
Life skills. And that translates in the workplace, and that translates in the bottom line, and that translates into productivity, that translates into customer service and everything else.
So would you then agree that there should be a lot more of you out there doing this work?
Well, I am a Gemini, so there's 2 of me in some ways, but I would love to see, and I'm not the only one, I would like to see this message more put out there in the business world, to approach with compassion and to, as a way of affecting the bottom line, because I know it's about the dollars in the end of it all, right? But there's different ways and there's better ways of doing so. It's
about being more human in achieving our goals.
I agree.
Isn't it?
I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you say that? Yeah.
Well, we'll take that with us after we come back from a short break. We will be right back after the break. Welcome back on Connecting You Today. We're here talking with Roger on his business and the services that he provides. Roger, I want to understand what you are looking for in a connection, because we're talking about making a blind connection for you, as we discussed. And I have some ideas, I have some people already in mind, but I want to get really clear on what you're looking for in a connection.
You're like my blind date fairy godmother.
Yes, absolutely.
It's amazing. What am I looking for? I need to get my message out there. I want to get my message out there to as many people as possible. I'm looking to elevate audiences. I'm looking to elevate businesses. And so connecting with people who run the HR department of a business, right? Looking at people who lead and do the hiring for conferences that resonate.
Because you're doing a lot more
message.
Speaking too, right?
I do a lot of speaking. Yeah, I've spoken internationally, and I'm going to be doing more. So, looking at people who run conferences and host conferences, and are looking for people who resonate with their message, and who in turn resonate with my message. I'm all yours. Call me.
That's great. I think I have a number of people in mind. So when you've met somebody new, how do you like to connect? What's the mode of connectivity you use? Is it social media? Is it email, text, or in person? What's your preference?
Over a nice hearty glass of red wine would be fantastic. Feel free to buy me one, and I'll buy you one, and we'll take it from there.
Great. So in person.
Other than in person, I'm a little bit old school. I like email, and social media has its place, and I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. But in the end, drop me an email. I'll respond much quicker to that than going through my Facebook feed or my LinkedIn feed.
Wonderful. Good to know. I can relate as well. Some of us are old school, and I certainly am on my computer so much, so it's so easy to get to the email, right?
Yes.
And for some of us, using the text or messenger is taking us away from our focal point.
It really is.
So,
it really is. There's so many methods or so many avenues to divert your attention.
Right.
And I don't think that's serving us personally.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good. You know, to each his own. And we have millennials who like using the text and messenger, and that's fine. It just all depends on the time we were brought up, like what was most functional for us, what was most available for us, and all of that. So, okay, let me see. When you have worked with a client, This is something I've been thinking about. What does a successful client say to you, or happy client? What is that you have delivered to them that they will be thankful for?
Yeah. I think what they say is I mean, I will tell you what they say, but I think even more profoundly is the way they feel by the time we're done. Because a lot of times I work with people who don't know where to go. They are stuck, or they are so wrapped up in their own fog that all they see is their own fogginess. And sometimes you just need somebody from outside of the fog to then talk to them and reach them and connect them back to what their actual goal is. And so that profound feeling of relief, that profound sense of here is where I was, and now, oh my gosh, I can breathe again. Or I don't have this tightness in my chest thinking about this thing. That is what gets expressed to me. So a lot of times clients will say to me, oh my gosh, I feel so much better talking to you now after having spoken to you now. Or I think I've got a way through, right?
So it's a lot more to do with the feeling, the sense, the senses of a human being rather than the mind. When you're finished working with them, it sounds like.
Well,
you're actually approaching, getting to the emotions.
Well, let's face it, we all like to think we're rational beings. And in our more salient, sublime moments, perhaps we are. But it's emotions that rule us. And you look at anybody with the most, the highest degrees and multiple degrees, they are still prone to their emotions. And it's amazing how intellect can go out the window when somebody hits your hot button and hits that trigger.
Exactly.
And that's where conflicts arise with a lot of people. It's not the rational when you're sitting back and saying, okay, I've taken a breath and now I see what you're trying to say. I didn't get that in the moment. No, it's in the moment. It is, I heard a third of what you said. I read a book one time, it was fascinating. And they said about how, evolutionarily speaking, in an argument, when our heart escalates over about 130, 140 beats a minute, the spectrum of sound that we hear actually decreases by 2/3. It's actually an evolutionary thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so we don't hear the high highs in the spectrum. We don't hear the low lows. We hear just that middle tone, right? So fully 2/3 of what a person says when they're escalated, or when another person escalated, is lost.
It's lost,
right? But their visual acuity goes up 400%.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In an argument, how many times have you had this where you said, I said that, I just said that to you. And the person was like, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's so true. There's so much for us to talk about regarding communication, isn't there?
Absolutely.
And just last night I was on a webinar, and this person was talking about sales, and two things came up, and he talked about human behavior and communication. And so without really understanding communication, we're really missing a lot of relationship in those so-called relationships that we have, right? So we call it a relationship, but where is the relating happening?
That's right.
So I'm so pleased to see the work that you're doing and the depth that you put into it, for your clients. I want to ask you, what is next for you? What is planned for the next phase of your business?
Yeah.
What's happening?
I intend to speak on every single English-speaking country in the world. I intend to stand on all those stages in every country. I love to travel. That's a hot button of mine. And getting paid to do so would be even better. Hint, hint. So I intend to spread the message as far as I can, because one of the things about this interconnected world that we're now living in, I mean, one of the benefits of having such a connected space with the internet and with social media and everything else, where everybody, you can hear thoughts about people on the other side of the world instantaneously. I mean, let's use that in order to spread messages of positivity or messages of a higher consciousness, a higher way of being, not just like cat videos and the latest politician gaffes. I mean, let's use it to do something actually useful that actually elevates our consciousness and elevates that of society. Let's do something positive with ourselves. Why is it that somebody shoots somebody and that goes around the world in nanoseconds, right? But somebody says something profound and heartfelt and encouraging, and that gets lost. Where's that message all the time?
So good to hear you voice those concerns. There's so many levels that I resonate with you on, Roger. I can see our conversation going on and on for hours and days.
We should go for wine.
Definitely. A glass of red wine? Yeah, I'm good with that. So now I want to make sure that once I have connected you with your blind connection, mind you, you're still going to have that mystery and the magic that we talk about on the show because I'm not going to be telling you a whole lot about that date, that blind connection until I bring you two together. Okay. Once you've met that connection, what I'd like to do is have a follow-up with you on sharing your stories, your successes, your challenge. Would you be open to that and keeping me updated?
Absolutely. Let's
Okay.
definitely make a plan to do that.
Wonderful. Because at the end, our goal is to bring back all the matches so that we can hear all the success and all the partnerships that have evolved, and also, what's missing. Because we want to keep growing this whole concept and widening our business community. Okay?
You are so on the right track with this, Rose. I'm telling you, somebody to keep a track on. Let me tell you. The method that you're using, even this form of the show, fantastic.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
Thanks.
And I think we need more of this in Ontario, in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Because like you, I fully believe in building business communities everywhere. Just like we have social communities, we need to expand the business communities. So on that note, I'd like to say thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I look forward to continuing our conversation.
A real pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roger. And to you, the audience, I'd like you to have a look at the number of ways you can make connections and also connect your network. Remember, it's not just waiting to find a date where you could meet to have coffee or tea or dinner, but you could actually do a Zoom call. And I've done that so many times and it's worked marvelously. Do a Zoom video call. You can do it on Messenger. You could do it by text. Don't wait. Making these connections are so vital to expand in our networks and expand in our communities. And it's really not up to a community leader or a business leader. It's up to you and me. So please feel free to write me and let me know how you're doing and whether you need any help. I'd love to be able to connect with you and engage in that conversation. Thank you to our amazing sponsors and to all of you watching here today. I look forward to joining you and again at our next episode of Connecting You Today.